All right, Chairman.
Good afternoon. The Board of Adjustment is now in session. My name is Anthony Robinson, and I will be chairing today's meeting. Attending today's virtual meeting are board members Irene Saul, Mona Parsley, George Hitt, and Joe Klitzing. Also in attendance for the city is Mary Hart Burton, zoning administrator for the city, Evan Winkler, community development planner for the city, who will represent the city in the cases we are hearing today, and Catherine Neiman, Zone Plan Examiner, Andrea Gutierrez, Lead Zoning Specialist. Our attorney for the meeting is Archer Mellon. Our court reporter is Colin Wallace. Today we will be hearing 6 cases. First, we will hear from the city representative who will explain why the permit could not be issued. Next, we will hear from the applicant and/or the applicant's representative of the project. Then we will hear from those in favor of the appeal and then from those opposed. Please be concise, as testimony will be limited to 3 minutes per person. When you come online via video or telephone, please wait to be sworn in by the court reporter, and please state your name and address. To ensure proper records for our court reporter, we ask that those online or on the telephone please remain on mute. Following testimony on today's cases, the board will go into its deliberative portion of the hearing, at which time we will vote on all cases heard. The board will notify each applicant and/or representative of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. You are welcome to remain during our deliberations. However, we will not hear additional testimony at that time. You may also call the lead zoning specialist, Drea, tomorrow at 314-622-3666 to learn the outcome of your appeal. Again, the number is 314-622-3666. Drea, will you please read appeal number 20563?
Appeal number 20563, 2823 North Broadway.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to operate an automobile sales, use, no repair at 2823 North Broadway. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of T&T Auto Center LLC concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue an occupancy permit authorizing the petitioner to operate an automobile sales, use, no repair at 2823 North Broadway in city block number 333.00 is as follows. Present zoning for this address is K, unrestricted, and ordinance number 67390, North Broadway Vicinity Special Use District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to conserve the values of property throughout the city of St. Louis and protect the character and stability of residential, business, and industrial areas. It's also to regulate and restrict the location and use of buildings, structures, and land for trade, industry, residence, and other uses, and to regulate and restrict the intensity of such uses. The applicable zoning code provisions are as follows. Ordinance number 67390, section 7F, vehicular related business operations. New or expanded vehicular related business operations proposed within the boundaries of the SUD are prohibited, illegal, non-conforming uses, and the city shall deny applications for such operations. Also, section 7I, vehicular related business operations. Owner or operators of vehicular related business operations in the SUD area appealing the denial of an occupancy permit to the city's Board of Adjustment, in addition to explaining the practical difficulties or unnecessary hardships in the way of carrying out the strict letter of the zoning code for which a variance of the application of the zoning code is sought shall also address the manner in which such owner or operator will meet the standards set forth in section 7, paragraph J of this ordinance. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. So in summary, the applicant is applying for an occupancy permit to expand their used vehicular sales business to add towing of vehicles at this parcel, which is located in the North Broadway vicinity special use district. However, new and expanded, which this would be considered an expansion of the vehicular related use, is not permitted. Therefore, a new use variance is required prior to approval. The previous variance was under appeal number 20131, and it had 15 conditions for used auto sales with no repair. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that a neighborhood plan has not been adopted for this area. However, the strategic land use area calls this the business industrial preservation area. And these areas are described to have stable businesses which currently exist and are encouraged to remain. While a used vehicle sales business and tow lot would be in keeping with the business industrial preservation area, the expansion is not necessarily promoted by the strategic land use plan. Therefore, planning staff finds that the request of appeal number 20563 is not in conflict with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions for me from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant. Ms. Stewart.
Do I need to be sworn in first? I'm sorry.
Yes, you do.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Ms. Stewart, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Sure. It's Katina Stewart. Mailing address is 2823 North Broadway, St. Louis, Missouri, 63147.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
Thank you. So our current business, it's TNT Auto Center, and we do have a current occupancy and license, and we've been doing business for auto sales in this area since 2017. As I stated, all of our occupancy and licenses and everything has been updated annually as required. We also recently just obtained our minority business certification through the City of St. Louis. We're very, very active in the community. We donate annually to PALS for their Christmas toy drive. So we try to do everything that we can to make sure that we are a good business citizens within the city. And we are looking to add towing services to our business, and we have recently passed all of the inspections. My husband has been, he has over 10 years of experience in the towing service, and the services will be, because it's towing service, the services are being done off-site, you know, so nothing is really being done on our current business site right now. And that's really all I have, unless anyone has any additional questions.
Okay, any board members have any questions? No. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Stewart.
Ms. Stewart, I do have a question. I tried to ask it, but I was on mute. I'm sorry. Your hours of operation, will you be changing those, or will they stay the same, and what are they?
So hours of operation for the towing service will be from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. But if there's any objections to that, we are definitely open to that because, like I said, we want to be good business and good stewards.
But your car business, what's the hours on that?
Car business is from 10 to 5.
That's
Monday through Saturday. We are closed on Sunday.
Okay. How many cars do you store outside for sale?
For sale. Well, so on average, it's been around 5. The auto sales has declined significantly, which is why we were looking to add additional business for revenue. But on average, it's been about 5 per month.
Will you be storing the tow trucks at the site?
Yes, there's 2 tow trucks that will be stored on site.
Overnight?
But it would be enclosed. It would not be on the streets. Yes.
Oh, you mean it'll
Not
be
on the
behind
streets, though.
it'll be on a fence. It'll be behind a fence or in the building, not on the streets, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. You had 15 conditions the last time you were before us. Any of those pose a problem for you?
No, sir, not at all.
And you have no problem adhering to any of those conditions?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
That's basically all. Have you talked to the alderman or the neighborhood association if there is one up there?
There is not a neighborhood association. Yeah, there's not a neighborhood association. We did attempt to reach out to one, and we were told that currently there's not really a neighborhood association in this area, that the closest one was, oh God, I forget the name of it, but it's the association that's near Crown Candy, but it's considered a different area, so there's really no affiliation. But we did, I was able to obtain a few letters from some of our neighboring businesses. And I can upload those and get those to you. But one is called Fast Truck Repair. The other is Tom's Truck Repair. And then lastly is Antler Trucking Company.
Okay, but because you're in the SUD, what I'm concerned about is whether or not the neighborhood and the alderperson are aware of what your plans are.
Got it. Well, yeah, I know, like I said, there's no neighborhood association.
Okay, well, that one's resolved. But have you contacted the alderperson?
Yeah, I have not, but I can absolutely do that. Yeah, because
Okay.
when we initially received the approval for the previous appeal for the auto sales company, the alderwoman at the time, she actually wrote a letter in favor.
Okay. We'll discuss that in deliberations, I guess. I have no more questions.
Sure.
Hold on.
Thank you so much.
One more question. How many cars do you plan to have outside associated with the towing company?
0. No cars will be on site for the towing services.
Just the tow trucks?
Yeah, just the 2 tow trucks. But as far like we're not doing any impound services, so no personal vehicles would be on site. It would just strictly be the 2 tow trucks, and they won't be on the street. They will be inside our gated lot.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any other board members?
Yeah, what days of the week are you in business?
Currently for the auto sales, it's Monday through Saturday, but for the towing services, it will be 7 days a week.
How many employees did you have?
Well, my husband, he's a driver, and then there will be two additional employees.
That's 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any other board members have questions? All right, thanks again, Ms. Stewart. Is there anyone
Thank you for
here
your
to,
time.
yes, anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay, is there anyone here to testify in opposition of this appeal? Okay, well, with that, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, and memo from planning and urban design. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11916 amended?
Appeal number 11916, 6497 Chippewa Street.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes, sir. Oh, you're on it
Chris,
too?
I'll go first.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to amend the site requirements of an existing comprehensive marijuana facility. Specifically, the petitioner is applying to amend site requirement number 5. The facility hours of operation shall be limited to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday through Saturday, continued from December 11th, 2024. Located at 6497 Chippewa Street. I'd like to present as evidence for this case, photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. On December 11th, 2024, the petitioner did not appear to the hearing, and the certified return receipt was not received by the zoning office, suggesting the petitioner may not have received the notification letter. Board member Desimone made the motion to continue appeal number 11916 for up to 90 days. Board member Klitzing seconded the motion. The motion was passed by unanimous vote of the board, and the hearing was rescheduled for a later date, which is today. So first I'll be reading the appeal form, and then I'll be reading the conditional use letter. Comes now Chris Leisure and says that on the 11th day of September 2024, a variance with conditions was issued authorizing the appellant to operate a dispensary at 6497 Chippewa Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63109. The appellant herewith files an appeal with the building commissioner to amend the conditions of the variance, specifically the following conditions. Amend operating hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Sunday through Saturday. My $200 appeal fee is attached. I understand this fee is non-refundable. This 11th day of September 2024, signed by the appellant. Relationship with the appellant is the owner. On February 22nd, 2023, conditional use permit number 131460. Permission is hereby granted to FP3 Grand LLC, care of Crystal Wright, to occupy 6497 Chippewa Street to add comprehensive marijuana to existing medical marijuana dispensary as authorized by and subject to the provisions of section 26.80.010 and or 26.800.060 of the revised code and subject to the attached conditions. Should you feel aggrieved by our decisions and any part thereof, you may appeal within 30 calendar days of the date of this notice to the Board of Adjustment, Room 400, City Hall. For your convenience, there's included with this notice an application for appeal. By order of the Board of Public Service, February 22nd, 2023, Michelle Knox, Secretary to the Board. The conditions are as follows. Condition number 1, the facility shall comply with all regulations issued by the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for comprehensive marijuana facilities. If the state's requirement is more restricted than the city's requirement, then the more restrictive requirement applies. Condition number 2, The facility shall be monitored at all times by an internet-based closed-circuit television for security purposes. The camera and recording system shall be of adequate quality, color, rendition, and resolution to allow the ready identification of any individual committing a crime anywhere on or adjacent to the facility. The recording shall be maintained for a period of not less than 90 days and shall be made available to law enforcement authorities upon request. Condition number 3, the facility shall have a fireproof vault or safe that is incorporated into and securely attached to the building for the purpose of securely storing cash and any processed marijuana. Condition number 4, the facility shall have a centrally monitored fire and burglar alarm system. Condition number 5, the exterior building lighting and parking area of the facility, if any, shall be equipped with lighting fixtures of sufficient intensity to illuminate all interior areas of the lot with an illumination of not less than 1.5-foot candles, evenly distributed as measured at floor level. These light fixtures shall be turned on from dusk to dawn. Condition number 6, facilities shall not use any equipment or process that creates noise, dust, vibration, glare, fumes, odors, or electrical interference detectable to the normal senses beyond the property boundaries. Condition number 7, no person or facility shall dispose of marijuana or marijuana-infused products in any unsecured waste receptacle, not in possession and control of the licensee and designated or designed to prohibit unauthorized access. Condition number 8, the facility shall display its state-issued license on the interior of the facility, visible to public at all times. Condition number 9, the facility shall not allow on-site consumption of marijuana or marijuana-infused products on the premises at any given time. Condition number 10, at the facility, any and all cultivation, processing, storage, display, sales, or other distribution of marijuana shall occur within the enclosed building and shall not be visible from the exterior of the building. Condition number 11, facilities shall be located and operated from a permanent and fixed structure and may not be located in a trailer, cargo container, or motor vehicle, and the structure shall not be mobile or operate from a transitory location. Condition number 12, the facility shall display a sign on the interior of the facility indicating that a patient identification card or primary caregiver identification card issued from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services is required and must be presented to purchase medical marijuana and marijuana-infused products. And a photo identification showing a consumer is at least 21 years of age is required and must be presented to purchase marijuana or marijuana-infused products. Condition number 13, the facility shall not sell to customers who are in cars or who consume the sold products in cars parked on the facility, nor shall it sell products through a sales window to customers who are in cars for the immediate consumption of the customer either on or off the premises. Condition number 14, the facility hours of operation shall be limited to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. Condition number 15, the facility shall not erect or use any freestanding signage and shall not have any temporary signage. All signs shall have appropriate permits prior to installation. Condition number 16, the facility shall only be allowed wall signs, and no sign shall extend above the roof of the building or extend more than 15 feet in height of grade. Provisions of Chapter 26.68 shall determine the total square footage of all signs attached to the building. Condition number 17, the windows and doors of the facility shall not be covered by boards, mesh, grates, materials, or coverings of any kind, except proper blinds and curtains. Condition number 18, the facility shall not have cord or rope type LED lighting surrounding or framing its windows and doors. Condition number 19, the petitioner shall provide a commercial dumpster and establish a trash removal contract through a private source for regular pickups and maintain the entire premises in clean, orderly appearance at all times. And then finally, condition number 20, premises shall not be issued a public nuisance notice pursuant to Ordinance 68535 or its successor ordinances. So, in summary, the appellant is simply applying to amend the conditions of their conditional use permit, number 131460, which they received in 2023 to operate a comprehensive marijuana facility in the F Neighborhood Commercial District. On September 11th, at the time of the appeal, site requirements allow comprehensive marijuana dispensaries to operate only between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Because the requested hours do not meet those requirements, a use variance is required prior to approval. And then it should be noted that, as we've mentioned in previous appeals, that since the time of this applicant's appeal, Ordinance number 71897 passed on October 11th, 2024, which actually allows extended hours for marijuana dispensaries in the F district through a conditional use permit. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency says that a neighborhood plan has not been adopted for this area. However, the strategic land use plan also doesn't address hours of operation. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11916 is not applicable to the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions for me from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant. Mr. Leisure.
I'm Chris Leisure. Tom Bomarito's here with me. He's gonna speak to you guys on this.
If that's okay.
Yeah, if
Either
that's
one.
okay.
Sure.
Either one can, but
So so Mr. Leisure, will you not be speaking?
I'm gonna have Tom Bomarito speak if that's okay. If not, I can.
No, that's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Bomarito, let's get you sworn in.
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Yes, sir. I'm Thomas J. Bomarito. I live at 29 Rio Vista Drive, St. Louis, 63124.
Okay. Go ahead with your testimony.
Yeah, we just, I guess the condition we're trying to change is number 14, obviously from operating from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and extend those hours up from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Alderman Rasheen Aldridge proposed this, and we sat for one of their earlier events downtown in front of the board there, I believe. And what was happening is a lot of the county operates later at night. And so a lot of business was leaving the city and moving to the county to buy things later at night. So Megan Green supported this, and I know that some of the places weren't in the same kind of district we were with marked F or whatever that is for your city planning issues. So some have already been blessed to go to 10 and to midnight. So we're just requesting that, we are able to function under the same as other city dispensaries and have the same, hours that they do. We've spoken to the Lindenwood Park Association. That's our neighborhood near us. They're for it. They're not against it. Our alderman is Brett. I'm sorry about it. Narayan, I think is how you say his last name, and he's also supportive of it. So we're just asking to kind of be brought to the same level as some of the other city dispensaries are at this point, with due to hours.
Okay.
I think that's other than if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Yes. Any board members have questions?
I have a question for Evan. Did the city send hours when they changed it?
So in the F district, it's a conditional use to have extended hours. But because this was appealed prior to the current ordinance, they're actually here for use variance because they don't meet the site requirements previously. But they did extend the hours to 10 p.m. and then I think in other districts, and then you can do extended hours as conditional use.
Okay, that's why we're getting to the 12 o'clock hour then.
Yes, that's why people are requesting 12 a.m.
Okay.
And as the testimony mentioned, other places in like the county and so forth are operating to 12.
That clarifies my question. Thank you.
And I've got a question, Evan. So you stated, and I think in a previous meeting, the city has now gone to 10 o'clock, but those who had applied previously would still have to come back to amend to go to 10 o'clock. Is that correct, or is that automatic?
Or they would end up have to apply for a new occupancy permit completely. So that's why they're here, because they were operating
under
prior to the ordinance.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, my
Thank you.
understanding is like where we are is kind of special. The F marking or the F, I don't know what you call that, but district, I guess, doesn't apply maybe on Delmar, right? So it's different. So they didn't have to go through this process again. So we're just kindly asking for whatever we need to do to get to up to level that we should be at with everybody else to be competitive, if you know what I mean. So.
Got it. Any other board members have any questions? Okay. Is there anyone here in favor of this appeal? Right. Is there anyone here in opposition of this appeal? Okay, hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board to amend variance, copy of the BPS permit with conditions, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, a memo from Planning and Urban Design, a copy of amending BPS documents, adding comprehensive marijuana, a copy of BPS documents, a copy of proceedings from December 11, 2024, meeting notice letter from January 15th, 2025, City Journal public notices for January 15th, 2025, photographs from January 15th, 2025, Sanborn maps from January 15th, 2025, and a memo from Planning and Urban Design from January 15th, 2025. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11894?
Appeal number 11894, 2701-03 Utah Street.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to make interior and exterior alterations for mixed-use building per plans at 2701-03 Utah Street. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Lintel and Cornice development, care of Lucas Delore, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to make interior and exterior alterations for mixed-use building per plans at 2701-03 Utah Street in city block number 1516.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone B, two-family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to promote orderly and beneficial development in accordance with the optimum development of the City of St. Louis and in furtherance of the comprehensive plan for the city's development. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010, uses prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for a use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. Also, section 26.16.050, changes in nonconforming use. If no structural alterations are made, nonconforming use of a building may be changed to another nonconforming use of the same or a more restricted classification. Section 26.16.060, discontinuing a nonconforming use. In the event a nonconforming use of any structure or premises is discontinued or its normal operation stopped for a period of 1 year, the use of the same thereafter shall conform to the regulations of the district in which it is located. Also, section 26.24.020 and or 26.24.025 use regulations and conditional uses of the B multiple family dwelling district, or sorry, it should say two family dwelling district, do not allow this petitioner's proposal as stated above. Also, section 26.24.060, which takes you to 26.20.070 side yard. The side yard regulations are the same as those in the A single family dwelling district, provided, however, that any structure having two or more dwelling units, the principal entrance of which opens upon a side yard and does not face an abutting street, shall provide on each side of the building a side yard having a width of not less than 8 feet. There shall be provided a side yard of not less than 4 feet in width on each side of the building, and the total width of both side yards should not be less than 10 feet. Provided, however, that lots of record prior to the effective date of this zoning code having a width of less than 40 feet may reduce the total side yard width by an amount equal to one half the difference between the width of such lot and 40 feet, but in no case shall either side yard be less than 3 feet in width. And then finally, section 26.24.080A, density of population. Single-family dwellings shall have a lot area of not less than 4,000 square feet, except that lots of record prior to the effective date of ordinance 45309 may be used for one single-family dwelling, provided the yard regulations of the section are complied with. Other dwellings, except as provided in section 26.24.020C, shall have a lot area of not less than 2,500 square feet for each dwelling unit. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant's actually applying for a building permit to convert an existing structure that's non-conforming to a mixed-use building that's located in the B two-family dwelling district. However, when a non-conforming use is discontinued for a period of a year, the use should conform to the regulations of the district. And in this instance, mixed use is not permitted in the B two-family dwelling district. Therefore, a use variance is required prior to approval. Additionally, an area variance is required for a side yard setback. In the B district, the side yard is required to be at least 4 feet. But the new deck on the stairs of the west property line will provide about 1.5 feet of side yard. Therefore, that area variance, and then a second area variance for the density of population. In the B district, dwellings require 2,500 square feet of land per dwelling unit. This building proposes 3 dwellings. The parcel is only 4,398 square feet, and 3 dwellings would require 7,500 square feet. So an area variance for density of population. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that this site falls within and is covered by the Grabaway Jefferson Historic Neighborhood Plan. It's also in the neighborhood preservation area of the Strategic Land Use Plan. Neighborhood preservation areas are described as areas where the existing corner commercial building stock will be preserved and augmented with new infill that's physically integrated with and primarily serving the immediate neighborhood. The granting of the variance is in keeping with this designation's intent to promote continued preservation and improvement that is sensitive to the character of the neighborhood. The neighborhood plan doesn't specifically recommend anything for this site. So planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11894 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Are there any parking issues with the 3 units?
I did not cite parking, but let me pull the plans out. No.
There's no parking or there's no issues?
There's no issues.
Oh, okay. So they have enough parking offsite,
Yep.
on-site. Okay. That's all I had.
Okay, any other board members have any questions for Evan? All right, let's hear from the appellant.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm ready to get sworn in.
Sure.
Can you raise your right hand, sir? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
I do.
All right, state your name and mailing address for the record.
I'm Lucas Delort, 5850 Mackland Avenue, box number 2004, St. Louis, Missouri, 63109.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
All right. As Evan stated, the proposal here is to rehab an existing 4-unit mixed-use building and keep the historic unit mix. There will be 1 commercial unit, 3 residential units. The building is a full rehab, but keeping all walls where they are. So essentially, I'm rehabbing the building as it sits at the moment, not increasing the size of the building envelope. And the porch that I mentioned is rebuilding the porch in the same size and configuration as the porch that was on the building. There will be 3 off-street parking spots, so 1 per residential unit that will be accessed from the alley. And I'll keep this short and I can answer any questions, obviously, but I believe 4 letters from neighbors in support of the project were sent, and I do have a letter of support from the alderwoman of the ward, Alderwoman Alicia Saunier. I was in repeated contact with the neighborhood association and never heard anything back, but they at least know that this project is happening. Neighbors have overall been extremely supportive. This was an existing business until about 5 years ago, and the building was occupied until 3 or 4 years ago, depending on who you ask. So this has been a storefront since probably the building was built, and it operated business since that point. So this is really keeping with the history of the building to have a commercial use and to have 3 apartments with it. So yeah, I'm keeping it short, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do you have any intent or what do you want to put into the commercial space? Are you looking at office space? Are you looking at a restaurant? What are you looking at?
That's really honestly going to depend on what I can afford. I mean, my dream would be to have a little cafe there, but I don't know. And I understand that any commercial use will end up being a separate hearing for occupancy and for parking. And everybody I've told about the project and anybody who sent in a letter knows that that's the case. That at the moment, this is really just to get any sort of commercial use approved as a building permit, and that future use will be determined. But yeah, my dream would be a little kind of corner cafe, but that might be cost prohibitive. It might end up being a small office space.
Okay. In other words, it's TBD, to be determined.
Exactly. It was a canine barber shop. It's not going to be that again.
That's all I had.
Thanks, Joe. Any other board members have any questions? All right. Thanks, Mr. Delort.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay. Is there anyone here to testify in opposition of this appeal? Okay. With that, I will then read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn map, memo from Planning and Urban Design, a letter of support from Alderwoman Alicia Saunier, and a letter of support from Tara Hacker, Garcia Properties. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11895?
Number 11895, 3300 Ohio Avenue.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commission. I'm here to present evidence on appeal to make interior and exterior alterations for a mixed-use building per plans at 3300 Ohio Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of lintel and cornice development and construction, care of Lucas Delore, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to make interior and exterior alterations for a mixed-use building per plans at 3300 Ohio Avenue in city block number 1518.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone B, two-family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to promote orderly and beneficial development in accordance with the optimum development of the City of St. Louis and in furtherance of the comprehensive plan for the city's development. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010, uses prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for a use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. Section 26.16.050, changes in a non-conforming use. If no structural alterations are made, non-conforming use of a building may be changed to another non-conforming use of the same or a more restricted classification. Section 26.16.060, discontinuing a non-conforming use. In the event a non-conforming use of any structure or premise is discontinued, or its normal operation stopped for a period of 1 year, the use of the same thereafter shall conform to the regulations of the district in which it is located. Also, section 26.16.080D, off-street parking and loading requirements. The following schedule of parking spaces and layout standards shall apply to all parking facilities provided in the city. And then it gives the angle parking, as well as the depth, width of parking space and the width of the aisle. It also gives parallel parking spaces shall be at least 22 feet in length and 8 feet in width. Also, section 26.20.020 and or 26.20.025, use regulations and conditional uses of the A single-family dwelling district do not allow the petitioner's proposal stated above. Section 26.24.030, which takes you to 26.20.030, parking regulations, parking for multiple dwellings. The parking regulations are the same as those in the A single-family dwelling district. Dwellings shall provide a space in the main building, an accessory building, or a lot occupied by the main building, sufficient to accommodate one car for each dwelling unit. And then finally, section 26.24.080, density of population. Single-family dwellings shall have a lot area of not less than 4,000 square feet, except that the lots of record prior to the effective date of ordinance 45309 may be used for one single-family dwelling, provided the yard regulations of this section are complied with. Other dwellings, except as provided in section 26.24.020C, shall have a lot area of not less than 2,500 square feet for each dwelling unit. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, similar to the last appeal, the applicant is applying for a building permit to convert an existing nonconforming structure into a mixed-use building that's located in the B two-family dwelling district. A use variance is required for mixed use in the B district. The nonconformity was discontinued for a period of a year, so it lost any kind of nonconforming status. An area variance is required for off-street parking. In the B district, one space is required for each dwelling unit. This building will have 3 units. Therefore, 3 spaces are required that meet the layout standards. The parking pad proposed in the plan does not meet the dimensions for 3 parking spaces. Technically, only 2 parking spaces could be provided. Therefore, an area variance. And then a second area variance is required for the density of population. In the B district, each unit would require 2,500 square feet. This parcel is 2,474 square feet, but 3 units would require 7,500 square feet, therefore an area variance. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency says that this falls in the Gravois Jefferson Historic Neighborhood Plan. The site's also in the neighborhood preservation area of the strategic land use plan. These are areas where the existing commercial building stock will be preserved and augmented with new infill that's physically integrated with and primarily serving the immediate neighborhood. The granting of the variance is in keeping with the designation's intent to promote continued preservation and improvement that is sensitive to the character of the neighborhood. The neighborhood plan doesn't specifically make a recommendation for this site. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11895 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant, Mr. Delort. Yes, have you?
Sir, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Can you state your name again for the record and mailing address?
Yes, Lucas Delort, 5850 Mackland Avenue, Box 2004, St. Louis, Missouri, 63109.
Okay, and go ahead with your testimony.
All right. A lot of what I would say is similar to the last one. This is an existing mixed-use building. As far as I know, the commercial space was used as a commercial space until probably about 15 or 20 years ago. And the remaining residential use of this building, from what the layout looks like and what neighbors told me, was actually used as a boarding house. So I'm not proposing that again. Proposing to convert what was the kind of open residential space to 3 apartment units. As I've mentioned, there's only room for 2 off-street parking spots accessible by the alley. But the building is on a corner, so I believe there's ample, city street space for, the last unit that doesn't have an off-street parking spot. And, in speaking with neighbors, they're very supportive of the rehab, and, there hasn't been any strong opposition to having, an extra car on the residential street serving that apartment. I, for this one, also have a letter of support from the alderman. I have letter of support from neighbors. The last one only mentioned 1 letter. I thought I had more, but at the least, if they didn't send a letter, I do have the support of many of the neighbors that I thought might have sent in letters saying as such. I think that's all I'm planning to say at this point, but happy to answer any questions or clarify anything that's needed.
Okay, any board members have any questions?
I would pose to this appellant the same question I had with the previous one. Any idea what you want to put in the commercial space?
No, similarly to be determined. This one would not lay out as any sort of kitchen, so would not have any sort of cafe or restaurant, probably just office. It's a very small commercial space, so it'd probably be some sort of office use, but
Okay.
still to be determined.
Okay.
All right, any other board members? Okay, is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here to testify in opposition of this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from Planning and Urban Design, letter support from Alderwoman Alicia Sanye, and a letter of support from Tara Hacker, Garcia Properties. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11896?
Number 11896, 43, 37 through 39, the Lozan Avenue.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commission. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to make interior and exterior alterations, converting a 4-family dwelling into a 2-family dwelling per plans at 4337 to 39 the Lozan Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case, photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of STL Rental Investors, LLC, care of Zoran Panjovic, sorry, Zoran, if I mispronounced that, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit authorizing the petitioner to make interior and exterior alterations, converting a 4-family dwelling into a 2-family dwelling per plans at 4337 to 39 the Lozan Avenue. In city block number 4167.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone A, single-family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to promote orderly and beneficial development in accordance with the optimum development of the City of St. Louis and in furtherance of the comprehensive plan for the city's development. Applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010. Uses prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. Section 26.16.050, changes in a non-conforming use. If no structural alterations are made, non-conforming use of a building may be changed to another non-conforming use of the same or a more restrictive classification. Section 26.16.060, discontinuing a non-conforming use. In the event a non-conforming use of any structure or premises is discontinued or its normal operations stop for a period of 1 year, the use of the same thereafter shall conform to the regulations of the district in which it is located. Also, section 26.20.020 and or 26.20.025. Use regulations and conditional uses of the A single-family dwelling district do not allow the petitioner's proposal as stated above. Finally, section 26.20.090, density of population. Except as provided in section 26.20.020C, there shall be a lot area of not less than 4,000 square feet for each dwelling unit. Lots of record prior to the effective date of ordinance 45309 having an area of less than 4,000 square feet may be used for one single-family dwelling, provided the yard regulations of this section are complied with. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant's applying for a building permit. They're planning to convert this existing, which was at one time a 4-family and is now a non-conforming dwelling, into a 2-family dwelling that's located in the A single-family dwelling district. As with the previous appeals, when a non-conforming use is discontinued for a period of a year, the use of the same thereafter shall conform to the regulations of the district. In this case, the A district allows single-family dwellings, or in some instances, 2-family dwellings, but only when 40% of the block frontage is also 2-family dwellings. And that is not the case with this block frontage. Therefore, a use variance is required prior to approval. And then in addition, an area variance is required for density of population. The A district requires 4,000 square feet of land per dwelling unit. This parcel is 5,090 square feet. In total, for 2 dwellings, it would need 8,000 square feet. Are there any questions? Oh, sorry. I should also, the City Planning and Urban Design Agency states that a neighborhood plan has not been adopted for this area. It is, though, in a neighborhood preservation area of the strategic land use plan. And again, these are areas where existing commercial building stock will be preserved and augmented with new infill that's physically integrated with and primarily serving the immediate neighborhood. The granting of a variance is in keeping with this designation's intent to promote continued preservation and improvement that's sensitive to the character of the neighborhood. Therefore, planning staff finds that the request of appeal number 11896 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Questions from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
Do I need to be sworn in?
Yes, please.
Sir, can you raise your right hand?
I'm sorry?
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Jordan, can you state your...
My name is Zoran Ponjevic. I'm at 4643 Gravois Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63116.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
It was for the 150.
Zoran, you can give us your testimony.
Okay, yeah, I thought somebody asked the question. Okay, we purchased a subject property in June of last year with the intent to convert it from a existing 4-family into a 2-family. We work on our plans, we submitted them in July, then learned that the zoning was sometimes in the 1990s changed to a zoning single-family only. We learned about the possibility to go through the appeal process. We obtained support letters from several neighbors on the same street. We do have a letter of support from Alderwoman Velasquez and have a letter of support for Tower Grove South Neighborhood Association as well. We were, unfortunately, we were completely unaware of a zone change in the meantime, mostly because there were still several occupied 4-family buildings on the street. We were completely unaware of that. The company that I'm a part of, we've been a seasoned rental investors in the city of St. Louis since 2009. We do a quality work and we are asking our board to give us approval so we can continue rehabbing the house. The property has been vacant for about 20 years and has had a very significant fire damage on one side of the building. I'm open to any questions.
Hold on a second. Any board members have any questions? Okay. Is there anyone here in favor of this appeal?
Okay, I'll let you go. It sounds like you're
Yeah.
dealing with a couple different things. So
Thank you.
I appreciate your help.
Yep.
And you have my email, so you can just send that to me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Is there anyone here in opposition to this appeal? Okay. With that, then, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, a memo from Planning and Urban Design, an owner's statement from building permit issued with zoning hold, a letter of support from Alderwoman Daniela Velasquez, a letter of support from Adam Mize, co-chair Development Committee, Tower Grove South Neighborhood Association, a letter of support from Paul Beckman Levy, and a letter of support signed by 4 neighbors submitted by the petitioner. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11897?
Appeal number 11897, 621 Ski.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. My name is Evan Winkliff, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to install one illuminated ground joint identification sign at 621 North Skinker Boulevard. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. Basis for denial of Horizon Sign Company, care of Chris Deere, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to install one illuminated ground joint identification sign per plans at 621 North Skinker Boulevard in city block number 4849.03 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone F, Neighborhood Commercial District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to fix reasonable standards to which buildings and structures shall conform. Applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.68.010 scope of chapter. These regulations shall govern and control the erection, remodeling, enlarging, moving, operation, and maintenance of all signs by a conforming use within all zoning districts. Nothing herein contained shall be deemed a waiver of the provisions of any other ordinance or regulation applicable to signs. Signs located in areas governed by several ordinances and or applicable regulations shall comply with all such ordinances and regulations. Section 26.68.02011 definitions. For the purpose of this chapter, the following terms, phrasing, words, and their deviations shall have the meaning given herein. Joint identification sign means a sign which serves as a common or collective identification of 2 or more businesses or industrial uses on the same premises. Also, section 26.68.090C, signs in zone district F. Permitted sign types include wall, window, ground, marquee, and roof signs are permitted. Projection signs that comply with the provisions of this definition section, designated as section 26.68.02015A through E, are also permitted. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. So in summary, the applicant's applying for a sign permit to install a joint identification sign. This is for the building called the Link on the Loop, which has multiple tenants. It's located in the F district. However, the F district doesn't allow for joint identification signs. Therefore, a use variance is required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that the site falls within the Week Lab resident-led reinvestment neighborhood plan. The strategic land use plan does not address signage, and therefore the request is not applicable to the strategic land use plan. Also, similarly, the neighborhood plan does not address signage at this specific location. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11897 is not applicable to the city's company. Are there any questions for me from the board?
Okay. Let's hear from the appellant.
Yeah, do I need to be sworn in?
Yes, sir.
So can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Sure. My name is Chris DeHeer with Horizon Sign Company. Our mailing address is 1011 Hanley Industrial Court, St. Louis, Missouri, 63144.
Okay. Go ahead with your testimony.
Okay, we are requesting a variance to the ordinance, which we believe is warranted in this case for a couple of reasons. First being, the building was constructed as a multi-tenant building, and its construction was approved by the city. Second, the building's tenants provide good value and service to the neighborhood and surrounding community, and the sign requested will display the presence of those tenants, benefiting them and the citizens trying to locate them, as well as the parking for those businesses. As part of the variance process, the city requested that we solicit opinions of the alderperson neighborhood associations. In doing so, we obtained correspondence from Alderperson Shameen Clark Hubbard, West End Neighbors President Walter Bonner, as well as Jake Banton, and the Delmar Business District Samantha Smuggler in support of the requested variance. All these parties were also very complimentary of the sign design. We have supplied copies of the original permit request along with the supporting correspondence. And that's pretty much our case, unless anyone's got any questions.
Okay. Any board members have any questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. DeHeer. Is there anyone here in favor of this appeal? Okay. Is there anyone here in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from Planning and Urban Design, email correspondence requesting support of a variance submitted by petitioner, email of letter of support from Alderwoman Shameen Clark Hubbard. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. And that concludes this portion of the meeting. We will now go into our deliberative portion of the meeting. Thank you, Colin.
Yep, I'm gonna log off. You guys have a good one.
Board members, do you need a 5-minute break or would you like to continue?
I can continue.
I'm gonna take a short break.
Okay, let's take maybe a 2 to 3 minute break. All right. Let's start with appeal number 20563. Thoughts?
This is the car deal with tow trucks.
Yes.
Were there any, Evan, are you there? All right.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Was there any conditions on this before on the number of cars they could have on the lot?
Not on how many cars could be on the lot. No. Do you want me to read them to you, or you don't want to hear all of
No,
them?
that's fine. That was the only one I was concerned about. I'm wondering about if there was a limit on how many cars it could sell. She testified that five was the number.
Yeah, not for the sales. It does say no storage of derelict or salvage, but she testified that the tow trucks don't, I mean, the cars or trucks being towed don't come back. So,
Well, the trucks do.
yes,
The
the
trucks
tow,
are gonna be parked
I'm just
there.
saying one of the
Yeah.
conditions is no storage of derelict vehicles. So if you're
Right.
bringing towed trucks back, I mean, vehicles that are being towed back, that would potentially need
Obviously,
to
are
be
derelict.
changed.
It looks like there's a site-proof fence out there too.
Yeah, from the
From the
pictures I
pictures.
saw. I don't have any problem with this. I would
Me
make
either.
a motion to approve. The only concern I
Are you
have,
making a motion, Mr. Clitty?
I started.
Okay.
The only
All right.
concern I have is that this is in the special district there, and there wasn't any contact made. I don't know if there's a neighborhood group. I don't know if the older person would contact.
It did
There's
show
no
that
diff-
the older person had received a notice about it.
Okay, if she doesn't care enough to show up or tell about it, then I guess she doesn't.
Typically, she does. If
Then
she
must
has a
be-
concern.
Must not have an opposition. So I'll make a motion to approve.
Do you want to consider the hours of operation, which are different on their current conditions as to what
For
she,
everybody clear, the alderman for the 14th ward is not a she. It's
Oh,
Alderman
sorry.
Rasheen Aldridge. So I wanted to make sure you guys were thinking about the right person.
Well,
Thank you.
to me, they have no gender. They're the older person.
Yeah.
So, I don't need I don't need to hear all the conditions again. What are the difference in the hours that they have then and now?
so their current hours, they're permitted to operate between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday, they have 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. She
Right.
testified that they would be towing from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week.
Well, the towing is not a business that's being handled on this site. From the sounds of it, all they're doing is storing the tow trucks until they go out, and then the cars they pick up are taken to another location, not this location. So I don't know. I guess we could put the time on the towing business.
I think you should put the time on the towing business because remember, isn't there a state law for the car sales that it can't be open on Sunday?
Right.
So if they're there for the towing aspect of the business on Sunday, I wouldn't want someone to like report them as being in violation.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
But I would say that their regular business, as they had originally, stays at the same hours, and that the towing business has the extended hours, 7 days a week.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
Sure, that sounds good.
And the tow trucks must be parked on the site behind the site-proof fence
Good.
for overnight storage.
And then all the other conditions remain.
Yes.
And
Modify
Evan,
the hours.
I know you didn't want those read, but Evan, can you check to make sure that we're not anything we're approving as far as this is not in conflict with any of those existing conditions?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think they are, any of them are
Okay.
in conflict except for, yeah, like potentially the storage one, but they're not storing anything except for the towed vehicles. And there are 5 cars that are for sale.
That's my motion.
I'll second you.
Okay. Moved by Joe, seconded by George. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? And motion carries.
As condition
Finding-
will not be a detriment.
Thanks,
Thank
Joe.
you.
All right, appeal number 11916.
This is the extension of hours, right?
So does
Yes.
everybody understand what is happening here? Some people have
Yeah.
gotten kind of caught up in the new ordinance passing. Everything depends on the date of your application. So they made their application prior to the new ordinance being passed. But even if they had made it after, the new ordinance only allows for 10 p.m. and they're seeking to go to midnight.
So I
Okay.
think
Is
when
the
when
ability to go to midnight, Mary, based on a zoning zone?
Pardon?
Is it based on the zone that they're in? Do they go
No,
midnight as opposed
the
to
new
10 or-
ordinance allowed everyone, all of the marijuana dispensaries to go to 10 p.m. It's not conditioned on what zone you're in. If you
Okay.
want to go beyond 10 p.m., normally you would need to come to the Board of Adjustment. But in this particular ordinance, they said that if they wanted to go beyond 10 p.m. or if they want to open up prior to 8 a.m., they could do that through a conditional use process. So, but because this particular applicant had applied before that ordinance was in effect, he has to come to the Board of Adjustment. He had the option of abandoning his original application and making a new application under the new date. But by the time everything happened, he would have been waiting even longer. So they just decided to proceed how they originally started out. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
So, Joe, I would say because we had a previous applicant in here with a similar request that we approve them for the 10 p.m. Time limit, that I think we should really do that with everyone that came that submitted prior to this new time. Yeah, I think in fairness we should do that.
I thought we approved them for 11.
We did not. It
There
was
was
10.
2 different ones. One was in the F district, you approved at 10 p.m. One was in the J district, you approved to midnight.
To midnight in the J district, correct? But
I
not the
think-
F district.
I think personally, what's the most important thing to look at is the location and what surrounds it. Is it surrounded mostly by single family residences, and would extended hours possibly impact that neighborhood? You might remember that before this bill was introduced that allowed the dispensaries to stay open till 10 p.m., we actually had 3 different dispensaries that came to the board and asked to be open to midnight, and the board approved those. 2 of them, their specific locations. One was in the Central West End on Euclid on a first floor where there's lots of foot traffic. One of them was, I believe, in an outbuilding of the old Kmart along Manchester. So there wasn't a lot of residential right around it. I guess what I'm saying is I would take more into consideration than just the date the application was made. But I would also take into consideration, what are the surrounding properties and what could be the impact of this business staying open till midnight versus 10 on its surrounding neighbors.
Sure.
Well, I bought some jewelry when this was a jewelry store from this building, and there really isn't much residential around it. To the south of it, there's an office building. Across the street, there's a restaurant or a bank, and then down the street, a little donut shop. Going north on what street is that?
Chippewa.
Yeah, Watson. Looks
Either
like
Watson or Chippewa.
restaurants. What'd you say, Mary?
I was
It's
trying
Watson,
to say
Chippewa. They're both both the same.
It all comes together.
It comes to a wedge there. This building's on kind of a wedge.
Right.
Yeah.
It used to be a jewelry store. I think, the one that the Route 66 down on Manchester, that's in a total non-residential area. It's all in the middle of the St. Louis place. All of that makes sense. That could stay open until midnight. This one I see basically the same thing because it's really in an area, people are going to stop on their way to Ted Drew's or after they leave Ted Drew's, one or the other. It's on the way. So I have no problem in saying, yeah, go ahead.
That's to 12 o'clock, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you guys know that Route 66 has a drive-through window? I didn't know they couldn't have one until Evan mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, when the marijuana legislation was originally written, the state did not allow for drive-through windows. And then I think it was sometime shortly after they approved the adult use marijuana that they also really loosened up on the restrictions. And so that was what prompted us to go back and look at our ordinance and make some changes. Because when we originally wrote the ordinance, we just sort of mirrored all of the restrictions that the state had. It was a new use. We were learning as we were going along. So.
Okay.
Your motion, I'll second you on your motion.
Okay, I have made the motion.
I'll second.
All right. Motion made by Joe, and seconded by George. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 All of those opposed? Motion carries.
Won't be a detriment.
All right. Moving along. Appeal number 11894.
I don't have a
27.
problem with this.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right. Moved by Mona, seconded by Irene. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed? Motion carries. Findings, Mona?
Won't be a detriment.
Okay. Appeal number 11895.
Same builder,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still don't have an issue.
No. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll
second.
Feature.
Okay. Motion moved by George, seconded by Joe. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed? Motion passes.
Won't be a detriment.
Thanks, George. Okay. Appeal number 11896.
So it's going from a 4-family to a 2-family. That's less density. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
Me either.
All right.
People were doing a lot of these conversions from 4 to 2s
Yeah.
about 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
I haven't seen many of these lately to where they're taking a 4-family and converting it into 2 units.
Two bigger units, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had,
it's-
yeah,
everybody's building smaller and smaller units.
I know.
1-bedrooms now are down to like 525 square feet.
You're getting to New York.
But it's a different world.
I hope we get New York real estate prices.
Why?
Why? They don't want that.
No.
Sure we did.
Right now, that town's half vacant.
I know. Yeah, she does.
No businesses there anymore.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right. Motion made by Mona, seconded by Joe. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 All of those opposed? Motion carries.
I'll be a detriment.
Thank you, Mona.
Evan, I didn't notice that this sign was 10 feet off the property lines. What is this sign?
What do you mean? What is this sign? It's like a ground sign that's showing all of the tenants that are in this building.
Oh, okay. I thought it was only for 2, but it's for multiples.
Yeah.
Did you get your plans?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, they're
I
on
didn't.
there.
Yeah, they're on.
It was
Yeah.
a separate email and I didn't open it. Sorry.
Okay, so appeal number 11897. Someone?
I make a motion to approve. I don't have any trouble with this.
I'll second you.
Okay. Moved by Joe, seconded by George. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed? And motion carries. Findings,
Be a
Joe.
detriment.
Thank you. Meeting minutes.
Okay, minutes. I move to accept the minutes of January 8th, 2025.
I'll second you.
All right. Moved by Irene, seconded by George. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed? And meetings are accepted. Any other business?
Just a couple of quick announcements for you. First, a reminder that we don't have a meeting next Wednesday. But we do have a meeting on the following Wednesday, the 29th. At that meeting, you guys will see some new attendees. We have executed the contract and officially hired the consulting team that will be writing the new zoning code. And we've had our first, yes, I know. We've had our first we do bi-weekly phone calls with the consulting team. Evan, Catherine, Dre, we're all on those calls with the group. They will be in town for their first site visit as the zoning code consultants. Code Studio is the main group that's running this. They were involved as a co-partner in the rewrite of the strategic land use plan. So that puts them in a unique position that they understand the land use plan and now they'll work on the zoning code. You'll probably see them a few times because the new land use map will be at the Planning Commission in February. And then after that date, when it's adopted by the Planning Commission, memos that you see from PDA will start to change and be much more detailed because the new land use plan is much more detailed than the old land use plan. The new land use plan actually gets into some conversations about design and about uses a little more in depth. And so PDA's memos will be a little more in depth than just it's in keeping or it's not applicable. And before those start to happen, the consulting team will visit with us at the Board of Adjustment and kind of talk to us about that. But at the meeting on the 29th, it's kind of their first time here in town. So they'll join the Board of Adjustment meeting on the 29th, basically just to meet you so that you guys can start to associate a name with a face. They also want to observe the Board of Adjustment, how we operate now under the current zoning code. So I didn't want you to be surprised when you saw a bunch of extra people hopping onto that meeting on the 29th. I suspect that at some point we'll have some in-person meetings with the consulting team, especially when we get into those really detailed portions of the zoning code where it talks about how the Board of Adjustment operates and what your powers are and that sort of thing. Remember that we're operating under a code that was originally written in about 1947. So I suspect that the state laws have changed. And so some of your powers may have changed also. So we'll be updating that. So just giving you a little heads up of what's to come. I'm super excited. I've been in and out of the city since 1992, and this is the closest we have ever gotten to having a new zoning code. So
how exciting.
I know.
Question, Mary, are we going to get any notices on, I submitted a letter and resume and everything else. Wondering if we're ever going to be told if we're re-upped or whether or not.
I think we will. I have not heard anything recently from Michael, but I also have not, he's the person in the mayor's office. I also have not bothered him because of the way that our schedules have been really strange here for the last week with the weather. So
and
I'll get on him.
I imagine he's
I would like to have
busy.
the vacancies filled so that those new people can be in on the beginning of listening to, the update of the new zoning code and all that. I think it would be nice. But I'll keep trying.
I have a feeling that Mike is busy because he's doing the same thing with every board.
If you've never visited his office and seen the list of boards and commissions he has to deal with, I had no idea there were so many in the city, but he's got a chalkboard full in his office. So
I'm just sitting here going, okay, I enjoy this being here and all of that. And
was everybody else able to get their information submitted? Mona, were you having a problem or?
No, I wasn't having a problem other than I was slow.
Okay.
But it is in.
Okay. And just so if anybody is having a problem dealing with that online portal, please let us know. You can come down here and we can help you get that taken care of. So
no, I was just slow.
That's okay.
I'm busy. I get started on it, and then I'd get distracted, and then it would go away. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta start over.
Off the cuff question, the other members of the board, did any of your aldermen ask you for a resume? And
never. That was my hardest thing. Is like I haven't written a resume in 30 years. Yeah, I've been self-employed. Like, good God.
I used to have a big published one when I had the firm, but all that went down with the plotter. No, not the plotter, but the server we had. So I didn't have anything to pull up. So I had to kind of create it out of memory. So
wow.
That was my hardest thing to deal with. I was like, holy crap, this is gonna take forever.
Well, I just listed in my resume, I listed projects that I felt were substantial enough that she might know about. So I was just wondering if everybody else had to do the same thing. So, I was just wondering if we're going to get there.
George,
yeah, he kept going, I need a resume, Mona. Like, yeah, I know.
Who asked me a question? Was that Dre or
who? Dre has a comment.
George and Irene, they are asking for a resume for both of you because you did it with me and I had to submit it for both of you. So they are asking for a resume from both of you.
Oh.
George and Irene, do you guys have resumes?
Huh? What is it?
A resume.
No, I have.
Oh, you need a resume from me?
Ma'am.
We do.
Oh, okay.
I
Who
just
do I
got
address it to?
the older person, my older person that was when she didn't know me. That's what
Irene, you
So
can.
Irene, I think you have to submit that information through the portal. But if you need some help with that, we can help you with that. Just, make arrangements to come down here, or one of us can come get you and bring you down. But we can help with that.
Okay. Okay.
I don't remember dealing with the portal. I just sent my stuff directly to Mike. We were just corresponding email wise. At least I think that's what I did. I can't remember. That was a long time ago. 5 days, 6 days. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Is that okay?
Quick thing, we are going to start uploading our meetings through STL TV, just so that the public has more access to them. So
Guess I'll go out and get a haircut.
That's right. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up.
I'll start shaving.
That's right.
Yeah. So what this means is currently we get a lot of requests now that our meetings are being done by Zoom. We get a lot of requests through a Sunshine request for Zoom recordings for the meetings. And I've never had a problem, answering a Sunshine request and just attaching the meeting. But recently some of the legislative assistants at the Board of Aldermen have complained that they should be able to go on to like YouTube or something like that and see our public meeting like they can other public meetings. We're not breaking any laws by the way we do our meeting. This is just the way the building division started doing meetings whenever COVID came on. So that was, instead of having St. Louis TV come to every one of our meetings and set all their equipment and everything, that was sort of the compromise we reached, is that we as staff would just go ahead and upload the meetings. We're sort of mirroring what they do at the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission doesn't have STL St. Louis TV there recording, but after the Planning Commission meeting is over, they do have their meetings uploaded. So if people want to view the meeting, they don't have to go through the trouble of making a Sunshine request to do it.
They'll be bored.
So you can see them where at STL TV?
Yeah, the city's like YouTube channel essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, have on your favorite shirt, touch up your lipstick. Maybe you don't make that comment that you might normally make,
You're trying to gag me, woman. Everybody else here is civil. I'm the only one that's smart stuff.
When are these resumes due?
Just give yourself a little history.
I know, but when?
Irene, as soon as you're able to.
Huh?
As soon as you're able to, you can send it to Dre, or we can pick it up.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the last one. I figured I was the last one.
No. Okay.
Yeah, if you guys can get that stuff in, let Dre know when you have, and then I will start pestering Michael to get those appointments confirmed so that we can get people sworn in and have them moving along all at the same time. Because we now have 2 alternate positions that are open. The position that was formerly Sally's, and then the position that was formerly Mr. Albert's.
Oh, Mr. Albert's out?
So I want to get both of those full because, it won't be that long till nice weather gets here. People are going to want to take vacations, and we want to make sure that we always have a quorum so that we can continue to meet. So.
Okay.
So for me, Mary, because every time before this, when I re-upped, they never asked anything from me.
This is,
It's
this will
good.
change again after April. Every time we get a new mayor, a new administration changes the way they do things. So, you know,
Yeah,
this
last
is
time we went down and met with the HUDs.
yeah,
committee.
but I don't know. I mean, some appointments are still being put through committees. Actually, if I were you and you didn't get sent to the HUDs committee, I'd consider that a blessing. So
yes,
I
I
think
agree.
the only reason that started was there was one alderman that didn't like a convenience store that we approved.
Yes.
And she's not on HUD, so
Okay.
at least not now, but that will change after April too. There'll be whole new committees. So just stay tuned.
Okay. Well, I again make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that, Joe. Moved by Joe, seconded by me. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Okay. Will not see you next week. But
I was
week
going to
after.
make a joke and just wait for
Yeah,
you to say
and-
opposed and say yes, but aye.
So please
Thanks,
reach out
Joe.
to us if you need help.
Meeting adjourned.
Thanks,
Yay.
everyone.
Bye bye.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.